amazing episode of your Geek Show. That's what we are prepared to give you right now. I'm Miss Shannon, here with my friends Jayden Satia, Robert Callahan, and Nika Hotep, the social media demon, is with us as all. Yes, I thought I want to make you sound official. Yeah. Because you did something you normally don't do this week. Because normally I book the guest, but Mr. Robert Callahan, our normal resident music geek, he brought in a good friend of his to be our guest geek of the week this time, and I'm very impressed because normally Rob, he does a great job making sure that we don't sound terrible. He's like does all the audio engineering on the show, and he works on that normally. But he also booked the guest this week, and we are very proud to have Jeremy Messersmith joining us as well. So thank you very much for joining us. So
thanks for having me.
We were all really happy because we didn't know that Rob had other friends, and so
Rob has friends.
I still don't believe it.
Because when he texts me, I was like, oh, this is exciting. I want to know who else you hang out with when we're not all together. So thank you for coming down. So I know that you're really busy. You're getting ready to hit the road, I believe, for your another supper club tour.
I am, yeah.
So how does that work? Because when did you start doing the supper club tours, Jeremy?
I started doing it a couple of years ago, and basically the way it works is I just put out a call on social media, and I say, hey, can I play at your house? And then a bunch of people from around the country email me and say, yeah, come play at my house. And I'm like, can I bring like a bunch of other people? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, can they bring food? And that's basically it. I just travel around playing musical potluck, so everybody brings food. They sit around and eat while I literally sing for my supper.
And your music is amazing. How do you vet the homeowners to make sure that they are not crazy, insane people and that you don't end up in their basement?
Well, I will say it's not 100% success rate on that. But, so the system...
You're like, whoa! Like,
it rubs the lotion on its skin.
Every once in a while there's a place where I'm like, I'm going to get out of here. But
one song, you get one song.
Yeah. By and large, that works pretty well. I usually just ask for a couple photographs, and if it doesn't look like they have a dungeon.
Are the people that you're having invite to bring the food, are they their neighbors, or are these people?
No, what I do is once I have the date and the city locked down, then I sell tickets.
Nice.
People actually, it's a racket, really. It's a big scam. So people pay money to show up to bring me food, and then they have to listen to my songs. It's like I might as well sell Tupperware or something.
Outstanding.
It's amazing for me. I don't know.
It's a win-win
That's a
for
great
you.
concept, by the way.
It's great. I love it. It's so much better than any other kind of touring because
you've done the bigger venues, and let's all get in a van and go across the country.
Yeah, that gets old, and it also gets smelly really quickly.
Gotcha.
But with this, it's there's no sound checks. There's no hanging around in a green room.
This is all acoustic stuff.
Yeah, all acoustic. So I just grab a guitar and a suitcase, and that's it.
Do you actually have somebody else bring you a guitar too? You're that lazy. You're like, you know what? Bring me the equipment too.
I would be that lazy if I could afford to be that lazy.
Okay.
But no, it's usually just me, and I grab a guitar. And
That's awesome because you're giving that, because I know your fans are like super into Jerry Messersmith fans. So to give them that one-on-one interaction, I bet that's super. They're really impressed with that.
I hope so. It's more entertaining for me. I have one device that I use that kind of helps. I have an inappropriate question jar.
Okay.
That I have people write inappropriate questions on. We pass it around throughout the night as I'm playing, and then I'll do my best to answer them. And that usually makes for kind of livening up a maybe sometimes morose dinner party. Can
you share what has been your most inappropriate question thus far?
Most inappropriate question. It's funny, the questions that people think are inappropriate. The question that I get every night is boxers or briefs.
And they're like, we're so sassy.
Yeah, like, ooh.
Nika Hotep's eyes just were like...
He's like, I'll guess.
And Jeremy's like, they're Hanes. Let's leave it at
that. Probably the most inappropriate one was... what local celeb would you most like to wake up to after a one-night stand?
Well thought out.
Yeah.
And your answer was?
I hope it was Rob Callahan.
Well, you were a close second, Rob. Sorry. If only because I just imagine we would have gone on like a Marvel movie binge the night before or something. That would be pleasant. But no, I said I would probably be Harmar Superstar. Just because the events leading up to me waking up next to Harmar Superstar would probably be something for the record books.
So that's also well thought out on your side, too.
He's I would have the best time here. Yeah,
yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of waking up to people that you might not remember, I mean, we this week.
What
this
am I
week-
doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
I woke up on your couch.
I know. So I've been bringing like a sample of different alcoholic beverages that I'm a fan of each week. So last week we had a Korean alcohol that my younger sister is teaching in Korea. So when she came back to visit,
North Korea.
Yes, she's in Seoul. Right. She's in Seoul. So she's in Seoul.
Apparently, geography is not her strong
Yeah, so when she's in Seoul. So when she brought back, she brought this Korean liquor that I brought down. And so this week, what we have in front of you, it is a bottle of Not Your Father's root beer. Not Your Father's root beer. And I like that it says on here, ale with the taste of spices. It looks very fancy, but it also has, this is one of those dangerous ones. When I had a friend suggest this to me, and it has 5.9% alcohol by volume.
It tastes like root beer.
Exactly. That's why it's dangerous. It's made by a small town brewery. They have a ginger ale that's going to be coming out this fall. And so this one, it definitely is one of those that you think that it's safe, and it is not. And so
because it tastes like something you would drink at a party in high school.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is, it tastes like a delicious root beer. Like if you were the sober driver, this is what you would get, and you would be messed up. So
it is from La Crosse, Wisconsin.
yeah. So they are ingenious, is what they are.
You need to buy this by the case.
Oh,
So see, that is what we are enjoying today during the show, as a bit of that. So hopefully, so everybody likes this one.
I liked it.
You like this one?
Did you get
Good
this idea
choice.
from our competition show?
Oh, well, yeah. Jeremy, you should know this. We have a rival podcast. We have a rival.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
exactly.
So much.
Yes, you should. Thank you very much. We have a rivalry with the Bizarro Your Geek Show podcast. They're called Three Guys Talking. There's 4 of them, but there's 3 guys talking.
They're really bad at math. Really, really bad at math.
And it's these 4 guys, and we all met up, and so what we're doing right now is we are in the midst of a fantasy football challenge as well, because we wanted to take it to the streets, Jeremy. We wanted to take it to the streets and battle somehow, and so we started a fantasy football league. It's between us, them, and then some listeners on each show. So we're going to see throughout the season how we do. So. You really have to kind of know these guys. It's not like it's your geek show going against a geek-ish type podcast as well. So none of us are really super sports-oriented people. I think I probably count as the most in this room because I used to play women's football and things like that. And the rest of me, Nika Hotep's picking on based upon how cute the people are, and Jayton's just like, hey, they'd make a good spokesperson for a movie later. And
Absolutely. Totally what I'm going
Intangible.
for.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
I don't
career
know.
after football is what I'm trying to do.
Bosworth.
And Callahan, I don't know what your methodology is for your players, so
Oh, it's their PlayStation stats or their Xbox.
Which,
stats.
by the way, are probably better than what Shannon can ever deliver because those stats are.
those stats are intense.
They're heavily researched.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, so we are working on this. So that is the rival podcast of 3 guys talking.
But they drink a lot.
They do because they do their show. It's an evening show. It's so they start off the show and then just drink the entire time.
Wow. Is that the key to having a successful podcast? Is the amount of alcohol consumed?
I think we've done some of each because we have done some shows that were fun that did not have any alcohol involved. But we did one episode where our friend that owns 11 Wells Whiskey Distillery came in, and that was amazing.
And that's the one that I missed. That's the one that the Scotch.
Yeah, we had to go and get food and wait 2 hours before we could go home after that one.
It was
A
rough.
good friend to have.
Yeah, and not only that, he's a big Doctor Who geek, and so we talked about Doctor Who companion. I talk about a fantastic hour. It was Doctor Who companions, discussions,
And locally made like vodka and stuff.
and he's like, it's like talking to a scientist, Jeremy. It was like somebody where he's like, and then you have to. This is how you balance things, and it was
But there's
just
definitely an
fascinating.
art form for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when we do, that would be fun though, because he did say they are opening a cocktail room later this fall, and he was going to let us broadcast
do a remote
from
show?
there. We're going to do a remote show, and that would be really fun if you came and hung out with us. If you weren't touring
be
and
awesome.
come down, I mean, we don't have a budget, but if you're used to getting paid in food and liquor, we can still sell tickets. You can get the tickets.
I was
going to
say, what's the equivalent of supper club but with liquor? Liquor club?
Yeah.
It's just a bar. isn't it?
Basically,
I believe
Jayden
that
doesn't
is,
get out
yeah.
much. Jayden just had a kid. He doesn't get out much.
I stay at home.
I do my best drinking alone.
We were talking last week about movie remakes, and it's worth mentioning that the Den of Geek put up the list of 93 movie remakes and reboots currently in the works.
Let's go through
93?
There are 93, including The Birds, The Fugitive, She's All That,
Oh, jeez.
The Craft, The Batman. They're going to reboot Batman.
The Batman.
See, everybody just groaned. I mean, because I think part of our discussion is always a matter of they take things that you loved and then they're just ruining it because they don't want to come up with another idea. Yeah. And like I think an example is that last week the movie Agent 47 came out. And so I really was a big fan of the Hitman video games. I liked the Hitman video games. And so I would rather, that movie is so horrible. It's one of those, if you see the trailer is awesome and it makes you want, it suckers you in. It has people in this movie that you want to see. You're like, this movie is so much garbage. It makes you're so disappointed that they took something that you enjoyed and turned it into a movie. Like you're better off going on YouTube and watching the walkthrough cutscene version of the movies from people playing Hitman than actually going and seeing the film. And that's what seems to be happening a lot when you have all of these remakes, is that there's nothing new or
There's nothing
charming
original, right?
or yeah.
And the thing is, like, as a director of a film festival, I watch amazing independent films from across the country, and it's sad that these films don't get. I mean, you know that from the music side as well. Like, they don't get the appropriate attention they require to make. I mean, consumers will love these movies,
right?
As consumers will love independent, just indie music. They just need to know that it exists. And if it gets monopolized by all these remakes and reboots, that, by the way, more than half of them don't even need to get rebooted
because they haven't been gone long enough that you're like,
correct. Like, really,
nobody has
nostalgic.
forgotten Spider-Man's origin story yet.
Right.
The Craft, I still can quote lines from The Craft if I needed to. I don't need to see it again. But I think that if you're going to, we talk about this, as stand-up comedians, like there's only so many things to talk about sometimes. I think you understand that. But what flavor can you put on it? And I think it's similar, like you could tell us, Jeremy, as a musician, you can do a cover but your audience is curious, is like, well, what do you bring to it? You're one of my favorite artists, and that's fine that you learned this other song, but it still has your flavor on it.
Yeah, you have to kind of put your own twist on it, and I kind of get that, studios, it's the safe bet. Like, it's incredibly corporate, and they're very risk averse, so let's take a known property, let's maybe get some young directors who have maybe had like one kind of like indie semi-hit, and then let's have them make Jurassic World, or let's have them take the reins of some franchise.
And I think what we get most frustrated is when they take the title of something that we found that we love.
This is about Jem, isn't it?
It's about Jem. Could you feel the heat? Could you feel the heat coming off me? I bring up Jem every opportunity. I have Jem rage so much. Where you take something that I'm very excited about and you pirate the name and then don't play any homage to the fans. Because even if I would rather, and this is going to sound terrible, take Transformers and wreck it, but at least have it be Transformers. Take G.I. Joe and have it be campy and ridiculous, but it still was G.I. Joe. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily a great movie, but it was G.I. Joe. The characters did G.I. Joe type things. They jumped around and it just had some new actors in it that I was fond of. Jem is nothing like Jem. It's a whole different story, and it makes no sense, and now I was livid. I'm so mad. Like I would be yelling, but that's rude for our guests, so I don't yell.
You're sweating glitter right now.
I'm so mad. Yeah. So mad. I am truly outraged. Truly outraged every time we talk about it. Yes. So, I mean, is there anything that you recently were like, no, don't do that to something I love?
Well, I feel like after the Star Wars prequels, nothing can really kind of hurt me in that way.
Okay.
Again, my geek heart has developed this hard shell, and it's kind of immune to stupid studio remakes and things. So I can't say I'm like super attached to anything, although the Spider-Man films do seem especially like, why are we watching a new? There's another new Spider-Man. Like, I still remember the other movies like pretty well.
Yeah.
That seems crazy. In reference to your earlier thing, I just realized that there should really be a website that should tell you if the trailer for a film is better than the actual film, and then just watch the trailer.com. There just needs to be that. Like,
you don't need to watch the movie.
No.
They gave away everything in the trailer.
You gave away every single thing. Like, this
registering
is going to be way
it
better.
right now.
Yeah, you should do that, because not only is it a bait and switch sometimes, because there was a large article that was presented about the new Fantastic Four travesty. And a guy actually broke down the trailer scene by scene and was like, not in the movie. Not in the movie.
Really?
This isn't in the movie. Neither is this in the movie. And he just broke down all of these things where the trailer is a completely different film, practically, because there's not all the stuff that sucked you in doesn't even show up in the film. So it's like, no, you're cheating.
With short form storytelling is so important now, and it's mainstream. Like everybody's going after that short. Like how much attention can we get from you? Like how little is little? Why don't you just take that and make that into the film itself? Just so you remember the old BMW commercials? There were just actual commercials. There were like short form storytelling within like a minute and a half.
Right.
I like those. I'm like, well, this is what it is. Okay, great. I got my movie fixed in 2 minutes. Perfect. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
What's the next episode?
Well, and like that Bob's review I posted on our site, that was hysterical.
Oh, this guy went on for 10 minutes about how much he hated it. He just hated it. He was so mad. It was a very well-produced rant about how terrible this Fantastic Four movie is.
Oh. Do you guys ever watch Mr. Plinkett
No.
online?
I've seen a few.
Okay.
He's the guy that did the like 3 or 4 hour long takedown of the Star Wars prequels.
Nice.
Like these extended long form video reviews, but he has a thing where he talks about films, but he does these really long, in depth kind of spiels about them, I would say, and they are really, really good. They're really amazing.
Mr.
And he's super
Plinkett?
Yeah, Mr. Plinkett. Yeah.
All right.
He's good.
Nice.
He's kind of like an angrier Lewis Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I think that now, because we have been creating such garbagey movies lately in the geek world, I used to just ignore critics because they were just, Mr. Callahan, notwithstanding. I listened to everything he said all the time. But normally, because I was what I do, I listen to every word, everything he wrote. I was like, this is gospel. Callahan wrote it. But I was so accustomed to critics not liking whatever I liked for some reason. Like, they just don't understand me, they don't get it, and just throwing out whatever they said because I was used to being in this little niche. But now, then we started making decent movies, and they actually would get decent reviews. But now, if somebody goes off, I'm like, they might be right. Because there are different critics that are available, and they're going, nah, this one really is garbage.
Well,
and there's a lot of reasons.
For the film festival, we're actually bringing out people from IndieWire and Deadline and a couple of other nationally recognized publications. I mean, those are the two that we've solidified relationships with. But we're going to have those critics come out and talk about their role in the fact that everybody's a critic now.
Yeah.
Like, why should somebody read them? And why should filmmakers or artists actually care about what they have to say? Not even just about their particular review of their film or artwork, but about everybody else. Because these critics now also are competing against JoeBlow.com, who says he's a critic.
And has 1 million YouTube hits.
Correct. Just
Okay.
because he's he throws out an F-bomb every once in a while. So, and that makes him the thing, right? It's just that he's got a following, he's got a niche, but he just watches movies as he wants. He has no credibility behind him. He's never been published before. What makes a critic now, and how does? So I'll ask Rob, because I mean, obviously, when you go about with music
I'm a former
as well.
critic. Yeah.
Well, no, when you think about like music and you reviewing things, where is it now in this world? With everybody's a critic. Like, I could go out there and publish my own website and have more followers than you just because I do. And
Just because you can.
Right.
Yeah. I think where everybody is a critic is in the comments section.
Okay.
And I'm out of the biz, so I might as well just go ahead and finally say this. I'm not impressed with a lot of critics. I feel like they all have the same sort of esoteric word thesaurus.
Okay.
And when they can't figure out how they feel about something, they just throw in a bunch of words that are completely meaningless but sound kind of heady.
Right.
There's one of the words. And so I never took that approach. I always just... If I couldn't think of what to say, I would compare it to a plot of a Faulty Towers episode or find a TV trope about it, something like that. And so I'm not really impressed with a lot of the people that are professional critics. The people that have been trained to do this have been trained to do it in a very old way, which was sound like you have an opinion, but typically don't actually have one.
Gotcha.
And I find it much more refreshing to see people with their own blogs and even like their own Facebook where they go up and put just a paragraph about something. I find that much more refreshing because it's people actually telling you how they felt about it instead of just trying to fill space for a paycheck.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I wasn't popular as a critic. Like I didn't get invited to the critic parties, and I know I never will now.
So as an artist, how do you, Jeremy, look at critics?
Well, really good criticism is a joy to read. It is, regardless of whatever it is that they're writing about, because critics, at least the ones that I really like, are the ones who have developed a taste and are super into whatever it is, be it wine or music or film. I really like a writer by the name of Drew McWeeny for writing about film stuff. He used to write on AintItCool.com as Moriarty, and now he's over at HitFix. But I find I really like the way that he writes. His knowledge of film is encyclopedic, and I always feel like I learned something, or when he re-examines an old film, makes me think about it in a way that I haven't. And I find that if you can get critics who sincerely love the medium and are steeped in it, whatever it is, then it's really fantastic to read. Yeah, and I would say, every once in a while, critics review my stuff, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're maybe not, or maybe they don't quite get it. But usually it's not anything that I haven't thought about, It's like, oh, yeah, I knew that. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
That's a thing that I see a lot with, younger artists who are just starting up and see the review process differently. They see it as a two-way thing because they've grown up in social media. And, people like our age who've been in the biz a while understand that, as an artist, you cannot control what the critics are going to say about you. You cannot control whether or not they're going to get you. There's really no point in arguing with them about it. If they're really, really mean, sure, fire off a one-liner on Twitter about how they were really, really mean, but you're not going to change their mind by engaging them. And so I get that not always agreeing with what the critics say about you, because I used to write books and stuff too, and people talked about those once in a while. So
and you're working on your new one now. So
yeah,
you might
working on the new one. I guess someone recently said it sounded like magical realism, which I think is like erotic modern day fairy stories. I don't know. I just
erotic.
Think yeah, well,
erotic fairies.
Nice.
Might be deep in the subtext, but it's there.
So Jeremy, have you looked at your wiki page recently?
No.
Okay, all right. So I love your wiki page because I looked up your wiki page, and I know that it's
great.
I'm just gonna read the biography, the first paragraph. So it says,
no.
Jeremy Messersmith was born in Charleston and grew up in the Tri-Cities area of Washington.
True.
He moved to Minneapolis in 1999 to attend North Central University.
True.
Jeremy is an avid gamer and has been known to play such titles as Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2, and World Warcraft 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a fair amount of some games that I have played.
And here is my new favorite
Alliance
sentence.
or Horde?
What?
Alliance or Horde?
Oh, I did both, actually. I went both ways
you're a
for
switch.
that.
Look at you.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my favorite line of the biography. It says, he also plays Dungeons & Dragons regularly with a gaming group that includes science fiction author Rob Callahan.
that's my favorite line too.
Yay!
Shout out to Rob!
I was like, well played.
It's funny because Joseph Scrimshaw's Wikipedia page had a mention of me as well. And everyone
We should just do that. Let's just see everybody's pages.
Everyone thought I was going on Wikipedia and like sneaking myself into other people's pages. And it's not that. I don't know
No,
what it
this
is.
came from the Star Tribune, so somebody else wrote it. So that's fine. It's not your fault. I was like, let me look at the citation.
I want
See what
that. I want my Wikipedia to say he does a
podcast with Rob Callahan.
with the renowned author
Science fiction
Rob
author.
Callahan.
You should.
Do you have a Wikipedia page?
Nope, but I'm gonna create one. And that'll be the only sentence I put in there. The rest of it will be just like people putting in
There
their
is
stuff.
someone out on Wikipedia who has a mission of going through and trying to get deleted all of the entries about artists in Minneapolis and like writers in Minneapolis. And so if you haven't like established a whole bunch of credibility in other cities and people out in those other cities are on Wikipedia to know about you, this guy or girl, whoever it is, will basically shut your article down.
That is so odd
yeah.
because I think because you do hear stories like Jeremy. You were even saying that is your brother that like hits up your wiki page every once in a while.
Yeah, I think somebody took out the line where it said, he's really terrible at video games, though he does try. Was on there for a while. I was like, thanks.
So
Citation?
So what World
Yeah,
of Warcraft?
citation needed.
So what World of Warcraft class do you play?
Well, I've played the game at different phases, you know. I played right at launch, or maybe 3 months after launch, and played a hunter.
Yay, huntards.
And then, yeah, huntards, exactly.
Yay.
And then when I was doing heavy guild raiding, I played a druid.
Excellent.
A healer. So,
Okay.
you know, we do like molten core runs
Yep.
and stuff, and I'd, run around, heal, turn into different shapes. But I've leveled up, warlocks, and I think at least maybe 2 other classes as well.
Excellent. Do you still play now?
No, I went on like a little binge of playing like for a couple months. I guess in January, February of this year, but haven't played since.
So since you're getting ready to go on tour, where do you find time? Like, what's your decompress time like?
Yeah, you got to make time to play video games, as it turned out. Otherwise, you know, it's like I have to schedule time to do drugs. I'm an adult and play video games. So, a good time is, winding down before you head to bed or something like that. And I don't do much in the way of, crazy online gaming anymore. But some of the solo and kind of indie adventures have been a lot of fun as of late, and it seems like it's a good time to be an indie game developer. Maybe it's a terrible time. Maybe you're all starving out there, indie game developers.
But you're a fan.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
So what do you like right now?
This isn't indie at all, but I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone, which is like a Blizzard's version of kind of Magic the Gathering, sort
Nice.
of like a card game. And I used to play the Star Wars card game back when I was a teenager, the Decipher game, and head down to my game shop.
And you were saying that there was now some text-based games that you're into?
Yeah, there's one called a Dark Room, and this game is amazing.
Okay.
It's fantastic, and I think you can get it for iPad or iPhone. But it's just you open a web browser, you just go to this website, Dark Room, and all it is there's a little piece of text that says you're in a dark room. Like, okay, and you can click on it, and then you can kind of start a fire in the room, and then it's sort of like very slowly unfolds like a flower. It's like it's kind of monotonous. You can kind of do other things and come back to it, and you keep clicking and slowly this whole world just emerges, and people start stopping by, and you start like collecting things and building things, and then there's a few kind of like these huge moments where the gameplay. Again, all text. It's
All right.
all text.
Okay.
Totally shifts, and it becomes like this overland adventure game for a while, and it's just
Little multiplayer?
no single player, and then it just kind of the way that it just unfolds and draws you in like a story. Was
So I
just
couldn't
kind
come
of-
and
just
knock
kind of
on your
amazing.
dark room? Hey, Jeremy.
No, sadly. Hey, what are you doing there? You got a fire in there? Got some fire? Got some sticks?
Trade you.
Yeah, that's really what happens. There's another one too, and this was a game by Notch, the guy that did Minecraft, which is now huge, and
Right.
everybody playing Minecraft. But it's the most awesomely existential game ever. Where again, it's text, and you just click on things, but you're basically playing someone's life simulator, where
Okay.
you're born, you eat. And you keep clicking things. You need more energy, sleep, and it's just kind of like
So it's
it
like
also,
Sims, but
yes, but
text.
but
Okay.
much more depressing. But
Much more lifelike.
There's no
Real
joy.
life.
You just click through all these things, and it's like get a haircut, get a job, like go on a date. Find someone who loves you. Oh, you got to go to work. Oh, they left. And then, all these sorts of things. And then you just kind
you're
of
like,
click.
I could do this at home. I don't need to do this for somebody
you
else.
kind of click through all of it, and then it's like, oh, you're dead. And that's it. I
Nice.
guess you beat
There's
the
no
game.
winning.
No, you can't win. It's like you'll never get
Are
out
you
of this world
accumulating
alive.
anything
It's
like wealth, or are you accumulating like
Yep,
other points
you
and all
accumulate kind of like a bit of money, but then you die and you lose it all anyway.
Right.
So it's
So there's no being good at it. You just continue.
no, yeah.
that? So how long do these text games last?
Well, I think the Notch game, I think I clicked through in about, not long, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Maybe not even
That's
that
not
long.
bad.
I'm not sure. A Dark Room, I really took my time with. It just felt like it should be savored like
you
like
literally
a
walked
fine
away
wine.
from the right. You walked away from the fire and you came back and it was a little bit lighter.
Yeah. You can walk away, do other things. It's meant to be played very.
So it's very theater
casually.
of the mind. that game.
Yes. Oh, but it was just lovely. And I hadn't. We were talking a little bit earlier about. It felt like a single person MUD. You know, if you remember back from bulletin board days and logging on and doing some of that, but it just feels
So like Zork.
great. Yeah, kind of like Zork.
And I'm a fan of those because I'm terrible at first-person shooters, kind of thing. So I like but I like some sort of games that you can be engaged in for a while, but you don't have to. That's why I stopped playing Warcraft. I don't want to have to log on and play with other people and have them be mad at me because I have to go do things and then I don't play for 2 weeks. So I'm like, look at him. He's like, yep, that's why I should. I have things to do. I don't hate people. I just have things. I have things I have to
Rob,
do.
can you help me develop a film festival game? Like all the stuff that I have to go through for the 10 days that I put together?
I absolutely can.
It's like people will be amazed. Like,
Should it be like a side-scrolling platformer where, like,
I would
Mr.
love
Film
that.
Fest has to like jump over sleazy Hollywood producers or
Like
whatever?
Frogger.
sponsors
Like-
and bend over backwards for vendors. And
This is casting couch.
James like, I do not have a casting couch.
I can get, speaking of indie games, there are independent game engine developers. So, like, if you want to, find a game engine that you can use in whatever, IDE you are programming in, you can usually go out and buy one for like $20-$30 and then build your own game in the existing engine. So you don't have to build the world up all on your own. So we could put this together pretty quick.
that would be great.
Just figure out what we want to do and come up with $20 or $30 to buy the engine.
Yeah.
And
James
Done.
all in.
a weekend of tweaking it and putting in the graphics you want, and
Yeah.
it's done.
So would it
Okay.
be something that would then live on the Twin Cities Film Fest website? How does that work, Rob?
How
How did it work?
would
Like,
I
where
know
did the
that? I
game
don't-
go?
If I knew how to promote the things I make,
Well, no, we use a TCFF platform to promote it, but where would you just download an app? Just app store or whatever?
yeah, I have the capability to make an Android app for $100. I can do iPhone apps.
We could have the proceeds go, because we're a nonprofit,
Yes.
so we could have the proceeds go to us.
Okay.
So it's a nonprofit, $1.99 download or whatever.
That sounds
And then you
brilliant.
can be the executive director of a Twin Cities Film Fest
Nice.
and see how.
Not a vanity
Awesome.
project at all.
No, but I want people to realize how hard it is. People are like, so you just watch movies for a living? I'm like, I do, but I have this other stuff. Like, how do you put together a 10-day festival? There's sponsors that pull out. There's vendors who quote you way more than you have money for, but you need their product. So how do you negotiate? And then you have volunteers. So I would love that. I would just, again, vanity project, sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, you came out with the album last year. Was that something that people were like, this is probably easier than you think it would be? Like, was it a lot of
Yeah,
work?
being a
or-
musician is super easy. Yeah?
Oh,
Nice.
well, it's like yeah.
See?
I'll paraphrase something I read on the internet last week, and that's that to other people you're living a highlight reel, but for you it's all a big blooper reel. It's like, yeah, if you know all the weird, horrible, crazy stuff you have to do with any job that's cool, there's always like the dark side of like, oh yeah, okay, I have to drive 8 hours and then play a show tonight. Okay,
And then come back because I
Yeah.
got to show somewhere else.
Yep, exactly.
And they didn't give you a hotel because you did
No.
this. So you got to, like, are you going to stay there and pay for
Yeah.
it yourself or leave?
Yeah, there's always like a certain level of bullshit at any kind of creative job, that's just kind of there to balance it out, I suppose.
So tell us about the album.
Oh, it's a record of love songs, which I did like a death record before that, and I was like, yeah, I gotta swing for the fences here. No, nobody wants to hear another record about dying or whatever this is. So
You're like, they're gonna lock me up if I do another death record.
yeah, pretty much. So I just tried to write a bunch of love songs, and
Is it dedicated to Rob Callahan?
It's dedicated to Harmar.
It's there.
Harmar always gets my attention.
always in my heart, Harmar. That was kind of the whole thing, and I signed with a label out in New York that kind of helped put out a bunch of it, and then was on the road for like 9 months last year.
Was one project more fun than the other project?
Usually the projects in which that are more collaborative are more fun, Songwriting, I think, like most writing, is oftentimes a sort of solitary pursuit. And, there's co-writing and stuff as well. But it's just a great feeling when you have like a little batch of songs and then you're like, hey, all my friends come over, and it's just convenient that you're awesome musicians. Let's jam on all these. It's great, and watching things kind of like grow and people bring ideas, and I love the collaborative sense of making a record.
And one of the songs on the last one, Heart Murmurs, it was called. It's only dancing. So what was it like putting that together?
Took us kind of a long time to figure it out. I went through a few iterations. Yeah, it didn't really come together until we had the strings in and did a session and just recorded it, and that kind of made it big and lush and epic. But I wrote the song because I grew up in a really like a fundamentalist religious tradition, and it kind of the big joke was that why can you not have premarital sex?
Okay.
And the punchline is, well, because it might lead to dancing. It's kind of that thing. So dancing has always kind of been this weird, mysterious, forbidden thing that can kind of mean anything, like everything, really, and yet nothing at the same time, too. So it seemed like there was a little room there to write a song.
So I brought that with us. So you mind if we play part of it for you?
No, good. I'll cringe in the corner, but yeah.
It's Only Dancing from his album Heart Murmurs, Jeremy Messersmith.
Late night call and I'm at your door. Teenage tears on the kitchen floor. I pull you close, hold my breath, feel your heartbeat through your summer dress. Shuffle our feet slowly to the stereo. And if your boyfriend suddenly appears, if your father comes home and finds us here, you and I, we won't need an alibi. It's only dancing. It's only dancing.
So I always wonder when I'm talking to musicians, when you put together a whole album, do you love all of your children equally, all the albums on the song, or all the songs on the album? Or are you like, this one was my favorite?
I think writing songs is, at least from what I understand, is very much like having kids. You just like the newest one the best. I think. And so whatever song I just wrote, that's my baby.
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually the one that's like, yeah, that's who I am now. That's the most me, the most current me. All those other old songs, I don't even like that guy who wrote those. That's terrible.
When are they gonna move out? They just eat up all my food.
Yeah, get out of my basement, old songs.
I get that. I mean, like, every now and then I'm at a signing table at a con, and someone will bring up like my first book, which is out of print, and no one's supposed to be able to get it. And it was like the best thing I could do at the time, and I was very proud of it. But this was like 10 years ago now, and I have to fight the urge to apologize to them because they spent money on this. So
You'd be like, I trade you.
But
I'll give you my newest one.
But it's still like they love it. Like the people who bought it still love it, and it's their first time going through it. And even though it's a little embarrassing to you, you gotta acknowledge the people out there are still loving it.
Well, you hear stories like I remember you would, and this goes back. You'll hear an artist talk about, I don't do that song anymore. I don't like that song anymore. Do you have any songs like that, Jeremy? You're like, don't ask me to play X, or I'm so over Y.
No,
Okay.
I don't have any. There are some that just don't really get. I don't really play them anymore. Nobody really asks for them.
Okay.
But there isn't anything that I've like kind of blacklisted, and I totally get why people would do that. Like if maybe something is connected to some horrible memory, you don't like thinking about it, and you don't want to play it, and then sure.
Do you get requests for Cannonball?
Cannonball?
Yeah.
Oh,
The cover?
Wrecking Ball. Wrecking
sorry.
Ball.
Yeah, Wrecking
Oh,
Ball.
I'm like.
They're like, play Miley.
Yeah, I get requests for that, and I'll usually play it if I have a version worked up that I can play. Yeah.
Do you go back and rework some of the older songs to make it more like where you are now in your life cycle?
Yeah, a little bit. It usually depends on it depends on the tune, but sometimes we'll go back and be like, hey, we haven't played this in a few years, and then we'll try to work out like an arrangement that kind of fits with the current live band, I guess. Yeah, so that happens.
That's why I try to smother the cat.
Stop the cat. Leave the cat alone. It never works out. See why I move him all the time. It's like just Terrible, terrible. I need to hire a new babysitter is what I need to hire. Somebody that just watches him. A new child care assistant. That's what I need to watch Nick Hotel.
I'm jealous of the new baby in the house.
You need to hire like an exorcist. I think, to take care of it.
Really, yeah. Get rid of a demon.
Yeah. So far, the binding has held, but we'll see. One of these days, there might be a problem. But I
How about collaborations? Do you collaborate with other artists here in town or across the country, and do you like that aspect of it?
Yeah, I've done a bit of it. I mean, obviously, my big collaborators are my bandmates, my producer Andy Thompson, all local people. But I've just started dabbling, putting a toe into the big pool of co-writing, which is basically sitting down in a room, saying hello to someone, and then having musical intercourse with them.
nice.
That's kind of how that works. I
Do
feel
you like it sensual or rough, Jeremy? How do you like it?
Depends on the mood. Right?
Fair enough.
purely functional.
Okay.
Only for procreation.
Sounds very religious upbringing of you. Yes.
So it's you quickly try to it's like musical speed dating, I guess.
Gotcha.
And you just sit down. Hi, hey, what do you have any song ideas? Cool, let's go with that. And then you just try to write something together. And I've done maybe a few weeks of that in a few different cities around the world.
Ooh, London.
Yeah, I was in London. I was in
I thought you were
London
going to
for
say
like a
like
week.
Mexico.
Nice.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That'd be world.
No, that would be super cool. I've done a bit of it. Sometimes it's really awkward. Sometimes it's really great. Yeah, but it's something I think I'll be doing. Maybe I imagine I'd like to maybe take a month out of the year and do some of that. It feels kind of good to get plugged into the musical machine, and also just to meet other songwriters. And a lot of times the people who write the songs behind artists that maybe you like are, at least in my opinion, usually a lot more interesting than the people out singing their songs.
Nice.
It's like they're the fun, tortured, creative people that you'd actually want to like have a whiskey with.
So you
And we need more of those friends. That's what we need.
Yeah, we do.
so you play guitar. What other instruments do you play?
That's pretty much it. I goof off on all the other. I mean, not all the other instruments, but most of the band stuff I can kind of I can play a little bass and a little piano and drums a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So I can kind of function as a really bad studio musician.
So if you had to record a fresh idea on your own, you could do it.
Yeah, I could do that pretty easily. Yeah, but usually my theory for making demos is the opposite. You don't want to get the demo-itis when you record something. So
And that is?
well, it's when you have this song, you've worked up this demo, it sounds great, you got like some drums and bass and guitar and pianos and background vocals and all this kind of stuff, and then you give it to the band and they're all like, well, we should just do that. And
Okay.
everybody's really attached to the way that song is presented and plated, if you
Gotcha.
will, to use a restaurant term. So usually what I like to do is when I record demos, I record them as kind of shittily as I can.
So they're like, you get the point.
Yeah,
It's just the outline.
you get the gist. I'm messing up a bunch. It's on my phone, and there you
Yeah.
go. And that's it. I usually try to not do anything more than that, because then
The bare minimum, so
Yeah.
they get it.
That's how I used to
Yeah.
send in reviews to my editors, actually. Here, I wrote this, fix it.
So you're hitting the road soon. When do you leave, and where are you going?
I'm leaving. I think the second week of September, and I'm going to be gone for just a few weeks, a little jaunt, and then I come back, and then I'm actually flying down to Nashville to do a week of co-writing down there with
Fancy.
people at the end of the month. Yeah, it'll be real fancy. Funny is I keep trying to. Anytime I go down to Nashville, I keep trying to write country songs with people down there.
Is that something you want to do? You wanna write country
There's
songs?
like a fascination to writing a good country
Yeah.
song. There's like a form to it, and I'd love to do it. But anytime I try, I'm like, hey, what about this? And they're like, no, it's too country, man. I'm like, I'm in Nashville. They're
Well,
like,
they
no,
wanna
no.
get out of the
No,
Nashville
yeah,
thing.
yeah. The people in Nashville are just desperately like, no, we're cooler than that.
So you
We
need to
don't
go to
wanna-
like
we don't wanna do
Oakland,
that."
California. That's where you need to go. Yeah, kind of thing.
To
Go
write
to
a good
Compton. Go to
country song.
Compton.
Go to Compton.
Yeah.
Go to Compton.
Get Dre
Find
to
some
drop some
inspiration.
beats for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Snoop, he's doing country sometimes now. You can go ahead and ask
What?
Snoop to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah, Snoop did come.
Wait,
yeah.
what? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Oh.
The Broken Road also. I heard
And you
about
know
the
who
Broken
else is
Road.
really good with country? Ludacris.
What?
Ludacris did like he did some mashups with Jason Aldean.
See,
it was hot.
I'm trying to think of something funny to say about this, but this
No,
just
it's for real. I'm
sounds
not even-
amazing
Yeah,
to
it's
me. I
just
need
like-
to go
yeah.
listen to it.
Yeah, so Snoop did some mashups. You could. Yeah, it was. Because so much of country has evolved anyway. That there's so much of this that it's almost rap. It's almost it's very pop. It's like there's a lot of those things you barely know that it's country.
Yeah, it'd be the same.
You can only tell
production.
because of the slide guitar.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes you can't. Like, there's a song that's on the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, and it sounds like an R. Kelly track, but it's a country song.
Is it about the weekend or something?
Yeah, no, it's actually this guy, and I can't remember his name. His name is Chase, something Chase.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm gonna ride with your baby. And it's just it's
a country song.
It's a country song, but it's just an R. Kelly song that this country dude sang. Like, if I played it for you, you'd go, that's the R. Kelly song that he handed to this Chase kid. It's fascinating. So, I mean, so you just have to go find the right collaborator. And they were like, Nashville's like, but we want to make mashups.
But you're thinking of like traditional country, like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Loretta Lynn.
Yeah, like that kind of country. Nobody wants.
And they're looking at you like, we don't make that anymore.
No, we make pop country.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I would really love to hear a collaboration between Snoop Lion.
I will say.
And Willie Nelson.
Oh, that'd have been hard.
Oh, just to have
That would have been hard
everywhere.
to do.
yes,
Right.
just have
everywhere.
a smoke off between those two and just create. That would just be. I'd want to be there. Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. If nothing else, we'll create one.
Do
Got some people.
Do you like
anyway.
writing more or do you like performing more?
I feel like they both feed kind of different parts of the whatever it is, the insatiable black hole at the center of myself, like that kind of thing. So I don't know. I think they're both good for different
Have you performed
things.
other writers' music, or do you only do yours?
Every once in a while,
Okay.
if I think I can, if it's a song I think is cool, or that I can find some kind of new way to do it that might be interesting, then I'll do it. There's sometimes you hear songs and you're like, I should have written that, and you just want it to be part of your musical DNA. And like Skyway by the Replacements is one of those tunes. Yeah, I'd say anything. Like anything by Semisonic is probably also up there.
I've heard you do Closing Time.
You have?
Next to Dan Wilson and Caroline Smith.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot.
I like it when you're
sat
so
in on
popular.
that.
You're like, I don't even remember what I do anymore.
Well, it's because I used to cover that song when I played in a bar band. So I was like, no, Rob. That was like years before you. There's no way you could have seen me doing that in Mankato.
I think
What?
one of the first time I ever saw you perform actually was I saw you do Skyway, and I was one of those kids that grew up like worshiping the Replacements, and when they broke up, thankfully the Goo Goo Dolls stepped in and took their place. But I remember tweeting about seeing you do that song, and it was something like, I think I like Messersmith's version better than Westerberg's, and I got hate tweets in response. I lost Minneapolis points for that.
Yeah.
So.
I guess so. Sorry.
Damn you for being so good at that song.
Oh, well.
And I mean,
know
they're
it.
completely different
Yeah, they're totally
things. I mean, yeah.
Well, you're hitting the road, and so they're going to be seeing you. And then when you get back to town, there'll be some dates in town, probably, where people can come find you.
Yeah, I think so. It's not announced yet, but I think I'm going to do a little, some kind of Halloween show.
Nice.
Someplace.
And since we are not afraid to beg for things, when we get this set up at the distillery, we are definitely going to hit you up and be like, will you please come play our live broadcast?
Cool.
I'm
I'm way better slightly inebriated.
nice.
So, yeah.
Even if you're just in the room and you let
So are
us
all of
play
us.
on that kind of thing,
Yay.
and we will take care of you. We have those connections, so that'll be fine. So they can find you at Twitter at
J Messersmith is
and the website again is.
just jeremymessersmith.com.
Yay! So we are very excited, and we will close with the rest of your song. It's Only Dancing. Thanks you so much for joining us. It's Your Geek Show. You can find us online at yourgeekshow.com. We're also on Facebook, of course, at Facebook.com/YourGeekShowMN. I'm Miss Shannon here with our guest geek, Jeremy Messersmith. Thanks again. Jayden Satia, Rob Callahan, and Nika Hoteps Jones, and we will see you next time.
Late night call and I'm at your door. Teenage tears on the kitchen floor. I pull you close, hold my breath, feel your heartbeat through your summer dress. Shuffle our feet slowly to the stereo. If your boyfriend suddenly appears, if your father comes home and finds us here, you and I, we won't need an alibi. It's only dancing. It's only dancing. Mirror ball in a cover band, just for kicks. Won't you take my hand? It's something that all good friends do. It's not like I'm in love with you. What a crazy idea. Where did you get that? Let's tangle up our fingertips and I'll rest a hand upon your hips. Nothing to see, it's all so innocent. It's only dancing. It's only dancing. It's only dancing. It's only dancing. Coupon tie and a sweater vest. You wear a veil and a wedding dress.